Can this O-ring cause your check engine light to come on? You bet your ass. This episode of Jay Hunto's Garage is sponsored in part by Topdon, who is nice enough to send me this new code scanner. We'll be using this today to find out what's going on with the check engine light.
Oh, you're kidding me.
In this episode of Jay Hunto's Garage, we're going to see what the effects of an O-ring that's clearly damaged has on your engine and why the check engine light comes on. I've already pulled this O-ring out of the engine. I'm going to reinstall it along with another bad one just so you can see what happens. Alright, the subject vehicle we've got here today is this 06 HHR, and as you can see by this O-ring, it has lost some material out here on the sides, which definitely takes away its ability to seal. And this came off a fuel injector, so let me show you exactly what that looks like. To change out the fuel injectors, or to at least get to them, all you're going to need is a screwdriver, a speed handle or a ratchet, and a 10mm socket. Here's where your fuel injectors are. There's two 10mm bolts that hold the fuel rail down. You'll need to remove those. Okay, there's a little clip here for the harness, wiring harness. And now you'll just want to lift this out gently. Doing this while the engine is cool is very helpful. As of right now, this engine is not cool. And as you can see, your injectors come out with the fuel rail. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the electrical connections on these and separate it from the wiring harness and get these things out and on the bench. Okay, there you go. Now to remove the fuel injectors, there is a clip here. Oh, I just had this running and this is going to be under fuel pressure, so you'll want to relieve the fuel pressure before you remove these. And I'm going to do that right here with the Schrader valve and a rag, and I'm just going to push it and hold the rag over to keep it from going over the place, all over the place. And I can see already that I've got another bum O-ring which just fell off. That's this guy. It's very soft and swollen, so something's happened with this O-ring. That was right here, and that does not fit anymore, so we'll have to address that. And these injectors actually come in two pieces. There's an adapter piece that fits down in the head, and then the actual injector fits into that. So you've got an O-ring on your injector and an O-ring on your adapter. And this O-ring has gotten really soft and swollen to where it doesn't seal anything. So that's good, we're changing this. Don't try this at home. Okay, the fuel pressure has been bled. I'm going to be disconnecting the fuel rail and then put it on the bench and see what we got for O-rings. In order to disconnect the fuel line to the fuel rail, you're going to need a disconnect tool, which is just this guy. Goes right around there, slides in, and it enables you to pull this off. Okay, the adapter portion of the injector I showed you sometimes stays in the head when you take those out, so you'll need to gently remove those, being extremely careful not to damage the inside surface with pliers. because that is where your sealing surface is for the O-ring on the injector, down in the lower portion of this. So just be careful with it. If they get brittle and break, you're gonna have to get new ones. As you can see here, I've got the fuel injectors out and on the bench, and I have my 4 adapters. Look at this guy. This is the signs of an O-ring going bad right off the bat. Not sealing. This is the original one that I showed you earlier. Definitely a bad O-ring. So what I'm going to do is put all this back together just like it is, bad O-rings and all, and I'm going to put this whole system back in. I'm going to clean off these O-rings just with some WD-40. Shout out to WD-40. No shop is complete without it. And I'm going to put it back in and see what codes we get, and use our new Topdon OBD2 scanner, the TD309, which is actually very lightweight, portable. I like that about it. You're not carrying around a big clunky scanner. Let's see how it works. Okay, just for comparison, this is the O-ring I showed you that came off here originally. That's not gonna work. This guy really swelled up, so. Okay, we're gonna spray a little bit of WD-40 on these just to make sure they go in good. Make sure they slide in without getting cut. You want to make sure your holes are free of any debris as well, because that's part of the job of the O-ring, is to keep dirt out. And there is dirt up here. So if you need to, take a vacuum cleaner in here, shop vac or something, to get these all nice and clean. Alright, this is my bad O-ring. I'm going to put it in cylinder number 1. That fits in there fine. And then this other O-ring, which is kind of messed up, I'm going to put it in cylinder number 2. Okay, here's the injectors, and these are the original injectors with now 223,000 miles on them. The O-rings are black with a green stripe. These get cleaned off, a little bit of lubrication just so they can slide in. Actually, let's connect them first. Let's get all of our injector connectors on. Okay, all of our connectors are on, and we're going to now put our injectors in their adapters. Put the fuel hose back on. Don't lose your cap for your Schrader valve. You don't want to get dirt down in there. If it starts leaking, you don't want it to be leaking all over the place. Put our 2 bolts back in. Double check everything before you put everything back together, before you put the air box back on. Some of you with a trained eye will have caught that I forgot to put this retainer clip on. Don't forget that, pretty important. This just installs in reverse order. Make sure you connect your air hose to the fender well. always plug in your mass airflow sensor. Make sure that's connected, or else you'll have codes right away. If you're just here for the fuel injector portion of this video, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below if you liked it. For the rest of you, stick around. We're going to see how this Topdon OBD2's code scanner works, and we're also going to see how this car does with bad O-rings and how long it takes to get a code. Okay, so right away we don't have a code, although we know we have at least 2 bad O-rings in the fuel injector adapter. Let's see what happens as we drive it. Okay, we're gonna plug in this new scanner and see what it tells us before we get any codes. 3 codes found. No, codes found. 0. Monitors. Monitors okay. Let's go to read codes. Let's see if we have anything. No codes are stored in the module. Alright. So we can't erase codes. Okay. So right off the bat, for a quick scan, this thing is telling me what I already know. Is verifying what I already know. Okay, let's... Yep, there's my VIN. And let's exit. Yes. Okay, very good. Setup, pretty easy, common stuff. Very simple. I could really see having this on a long road trip, just in case you have to clear codes that are kind of intermittent. Like sometimes you get a random misfire or multiple misfire, check engine light comes on, then you got to look at it for the whole length of the trip. So having this in the car to clear that, to see if it comes back, which I had that exact situation with this car last weekend on the way back from San Marcos. So this is really nice, handy. It's small enough to keep in your driver's side door pocket or in your glove box, even in a little car like this. Now let's drive it, see what we come up with. Okay, it took 30 miles to get my traction control light to come on. Check engine light should follow soon. And at 47 miles, we finally have the check engine light. Let's see what we got on the scanner. Okay, let's plug in our TD309. Let's see what we have for codes. One code found. Read codes. There we go. P0171. System 2 Lean Bank 1. And we have another code. Same thing. Alright, so we know the code scanner works. And I will go ahead and clear the codes, because the traction control light's on and the check engine light is on. So I'll clear them out. Let's see if we can do that. Yes. Erase race turn. Let's try that again. You know, my other one did the same thing. Another code reader I have does the same thing and tells you that it failed to do it, but it actually turned the lights off. So let's see what happened. Okay, they're all off. So there you go. Traction control will be clear. The transmission rather, will shift normally now instead of hard shifts. And we won't have a check engine light for maybe another 45 miles or so. Okay, let's see how she drives. Okay, I haven't even been a mile yet and traction control light's on. So now what I'm going to do with this is take those injectors back out, change the O-rings, put some new ones on, and you've already seen all of that earlier in this video. Here are the two O-rings I just took out. You can see this one is pretty chewed up on one side. This one as well. So that's what was causing my air leak. Unmetered air. We'll give you a code of P0171. I'm taking it on any engine. So we got those changed out and she's good to go. Thanks for watching.